take two, but this is not take two. This is take one. That was the dress rehearsal, and it went perfectly. So here we go. Thank you all for being here. I hope you have a drink ready, because the first person up is a classmate of ours with the class toast. And here's the intro. Dan Doherty leads Cristo Rey New York High School in East Harlem. Educating our children at home during the pandemic has driven many of us to drink. So who better to lead us in a toast than an educator?
Thanks, Ethan.
Thanks, Dan.
I think it's a little bit less dramatic to show that I was wearing a t-shirt before and a tux now, but you know, hey, the tux is still looking pretty good, I gotta say. It's not
Looks
bad.
great. Looks great.
If Stephen Colbert can get away with what he wears on TV, and I can get away with a tux. So as we gather today, looking at the computer, I'm sure we feel a little disappointment, even more so now that we've had to restart, although that adds to the comedy and makes it more fitting for a group of 50-something-year-olds. We wish we could be together, looking at our faces, wrinkled as they may be, aged as they may be, but still never more beautiful. But the disappointment we feel for not being in person really pales in light of the sickness and death that the pandemic's caused, the financial strain that people feel. It's something that's very prevalent here in New York, where the numbers are so high. You know, when I go to work on 106th Street in Harlem, there's a food line that stretches around the block and up the avenue every time the kitchen is open for pickup. Earlier today, the issues that have been in the news the last several weeks of violence that remind us racial injustice continues to be a blight on our country. We're evident. There was a protest that closed the FDR Drive for a little while and marched past my building chanting, "Hands up, don't shoot." And out that same window, there are going to be cheers at 7, because every night in New York and all around the country, people cheer for the essential workers who are fighting the pandemic. Clearly, the arc of history is not bending fast enough toward justice. So, given the circumstances, rather than focus on our disappointment, let's reach for gratitude instead. Gratitude that inspires commitment to something better. Let's be grateful for the foundations of our life: health, home, food, family, faith, and an occasional beverage. Let's be grateful that the age and experience we have on ourselves now have smoothed out a few of our rough edges, sharpened our wit, increased our wisdom, and deepened our compassion for others. Let's be grateful for the people, especially our classmates, who have stepped up during the pandemic, the healthcare workers who have been treating COVID-19, the grocers and truckers and everyone else who's kept the world running. Let's be grateful for the people, especially our classmates, who act with justice and inspire the same in others. Let's be grateful for those who have worked to bring us together over the last few months, especially today. Lily Gillespie, our Harvard Alumni Association liaison, who helped make the best of the situation. And it wasn't her fault that the reunion was canceled. She just had to deliver the bad news. We'll see in a little while whether it was her fault that we tapped out at 300 instead of 500, but we'll let her be for now. The generous reunion committee and our selfless leaders, Beth and Mark, Diana, happy birthday, Diana, Lori, and Jen. All they got for their effort was a stream of emails, a longer debate about what online platform would be the best remote reunion experience. That clearly didn't go well. Who knew our meetings in Cambridge were going to be the closest we'd come to a reunion? But nonetheless, I think today will turn out terrific. Most of all, let's be grateful for the class of 1990, for the good fortune that brought us together in 1986, for the friendships that began in college and have endured for 30 years since our graduation. Clearly, it has not felt that long, but when we look at our kids who are now some through Harvard themselves, we know time has passed. Let's be grateful for the positive contributions each member of our class has made to their chosen field and the generous commitment each one's made to the causes that are close to their heart. So raise your glass, whether it's a red Solo cup, a fancy tumbler, or a champagne flute. And let's toast the Harvard-Radcliffe Class of 1990. May the bonds that unite us grow ever stronger and more meaningful. And may the enduring quality of our bonds be surpassed only by the strength of our commitment to contribute meaningfully to the betterment of our communities and the lives of our brothers and sisters. To the Harvard-Radcliffe Class of 1990.
Cheers.
Here.
Cheers.
Here.
Cheers.
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 Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. Thank you. Wow. Amazing.
Amazing. Wonderful job, Dan.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful, Dan. Thank you. Even
If I have
better
to
than
do that, if I have to do that again, I have to go back for a refill. So let's make sure that one sticks.
I was going to say, you really, that time you almost nailed it. So let's just go one more time from the top. I think
Be right back.
you
Right?
really.
Dan,
All
that was beautiful. Thank you. Ethan, I'm sorry to interrupt. Robbie, may I ask, please, if you could make Lily a co-host, because she has some things to share as part of our performance today. That would be terrific. Sorry to bother and interrupt.
By the way, I normally don't do crowd work at my comedy shows, but I am going to be making fun of people individually, and it's really handy now that their names are right there. No, I don't do that. That's not that's not my style. All right. It is exciting though. I got to say, to see all of you here like this. I'm getting that some of those symptoms that I got at the 25th. It's really great. It's sort of like it's a little bit of goosebumps. It's a little bit of nervousness, a little bit of butterflies. And I see Jimmy, my freshman roommate. I see Lisa, my freshman year Spanish classmate. I see Sarah from freshman seminar. I mean, there's just, and Jesus Christ, that's a lot of years. Now it's 34 years since those first memories were formed. Holy smokes. Okay, before I start tearing up, let's move on to the all important. No, seriously, I just want to say what I want to second what Dan said. It's a blessing to be able to be together like this, even though it's remotely, and to share these friendships and this relationship enduring now all these decades and hopefully many more to come. Okay. The moment that we've been waiting for since the 25th, since Elliot Thompson delighted us with his survey. So here's the intro. Andy Freed. Well,
My friend that was telling me about her.
Oh, I feel like I sounded like
Casey
Kasem when I just.
Is this the same?
Oh.
She's like,
Wait, Andy, something weird happened where when you did that. Oh, here we go. When I said Andy Freed, I felt like I was Casey Kasem suddenly. Andy Freed is a classmate from Kirkland House who proudly placed out of the QRR and then never touched a calculator for 4 years of college. So he's a natural to present the survey results. Here he is, Andy Freed.
Thanks, Ethan. Well, maybe we can have like a long distance dedication and everything else, and you can get the full thing going. I'm presuming everybody, Ethan, I'll look to you to see if everyone can share can see the survey results.
Yeah, it's looking good.
No, then we're pretty well done. That's great. So let's hop off to another call. Well, thanks everybody for letting me take a shot at this. I will say, since we started talking about the class survey at an early reunion committee meeting, nobody wanted to do it. And I can understand why, because the one thing that I heard over and over and over and over again was this: Elliot's performance in 5 years ago. What I kept hearing about was, this was my favorite part of the reunion. This was the best thing I ever saw. Oh my God, Elliot was so funny. And I'll say, I kept hearing that, and I thought, sometimes these things they get better by age or whatever it might be, or the legend grows or anything like that. So I went onto YouTube and I checked it out, and holy cow, that was funny stuff. And Elliot just killed it.
he's here.
Elliot's
I know
here.
he's here, and Elliot was sending me taunting messages, to sort of to wish me luck just an hour ago, and it was deeply disturbing in so many ways.
Yeah, he
But
was fucking with you. He was fucking with you. That's for
but then I started to think about things a little bit more, and I remembered something. Harvard is graded on a curve. Thank God for that. Elliot is on one side of the curve. I'm here to represent somebody else. I'm here to represent the people that had never been awake in Sanders Theater prior to Elliot's presentation. And I know, because I just saw Mike Murphy on screen, it was Mike Murphy's first time in Sanders Theater for the 25th reunion. So I know I'm not the only one that feels that way. So before I begin, I'll have a couple of thank yous. We had a great survey committee of some folks that really did a great job helping us out and pulling things up. And that was Miriam, Graham, Seth, and Ethan. All contributed to the questions, all helped figure things out, all helped me just with this process. The thing I really want to thank more than the survey committee, though, is another force of nature, and something again so important for some people in their college career. And that is, of course, plagiarism. Thank goodness for plagiarism, because I'll tell you, the class of '88 hit it out of the park for their 30th reunion survey. And many of the questions that we've got in our reunion survey were shamelessly lifted from the class of '88. And I'm sure will be, the class of '91 will have us to thank for it. Sometimes you have to, sometimes you can be original, sometimes a little less so. Couple of words about the data and some things that are important. As we went into this thing, I will tell you, it was important that we had a plan. And I had a plan. We had a communications plan that we had worked out. We had multiple reminders going out. This was going to be awesome. We asked everybody about the survey for the first time in February. I had planned how it was all going to work. Then, as you know, some things change. And every now and then you can have a really good plan, and then a meteor just hits your plan and blows things up. So of course our meteor was COVID, and COVID changed our plans. We can see if we'll see maybe if our live polling works. We can do a quick check to see how much COVID changed your plans too. Lily, are you able to pull up the live polling?
Andy, for some reason the polling, it won't let me create a new poll here. So
Well, like
maybe
we said, we don't have any polling, but COVID had a really big impact. So let me tell you about the impact that COVID had on the survey. And there were two huge impacts that COVID had, because we started doing this in February. We rapidly got to about 200 responses, but then something happened in March, and that is our COVID impact started to hit. And our COVID impacts, there were a couple of them. Number one, I stopped giving a shit about the response rate. I'll be honest with you. I had other things going on. We all had other things going on. Life was changing. The response rate on the class survey, not my top priority over the last 3 months. As a result of that, we've only got about 280 responses and 247 people that went all the way through it. Fortunately, Elliot described the survey as being stat-ish. I didn't take statistics. I don't actually know what this chart means, but I'm pretty sure what it means is something about that 280 responses is like a wild guess. That's okay. I'm all for making some wild guesses with low sample sizes. That's what the class survey is all about. So that's what we're going to be doing a little bit of today. Number two, some of our answers that we gave to the survey, and remember, almost every response that we got in came before March 1. So some of our answers right now are completely and totally irrelevant. I particularly enjoyed this one. What is the greatest problem facing the world today? When you look at this right now, it's laughable. Who knew that when we were talking about climate change, that these were the good old days? Earlier in 2020, when we were just worrying about Australia being on fire, global warming, polar bears floating by on ice floes, those were all the good days. Little did we know that 2020 was going to completely unravel after that. How financially secure do you feel? Yep, we're all feeling pretty financially secure come about February. No problems at all. The Dow Jones is hitting record numbers. We're all going to retire in an hour or two. This is great. Again, we were pretty naive and young back in February. Turns out we've all aged quite a bit in the last 4 months. So this last one, are you planning to attend the 30th reunion? 70% of the people are planning to attend the 30th reunion. I've got some bad news for the people who are planning to attend the 30th reunion. Anyone who is standing in Harvard Yard right now, looking around for the picnic, keep looking. It's not going to go so well for you. So some things have changed, but there is some good news along the way. As we go through that, we realized, and today's good evidence of it, and seeing 387 people on this call, we don't need a reunion to stay connected. And in fact, when you ask people how often they stay connected with their classmates by some one-on-one exchange of any type, the vast majority of people, 80% of the people are connected with a classmate on at least a monthly basis, and that's pretty good. Some people took it a little step further. Some folks said, you know what, connecting on a daily basis, that's not enough. In fact, about 20% of us are married to Harvard grads, 10% of us from the class. It's pretty good. It's not a full sample size, but that's taking it a step further. Now, something that I didn't get, because one thing I learned about Elliot was all of the fun of this thing is in the crosstabs. And that's really where you start to understand the survey and understands things better. So here's what I don't get. So I looked at this question. Is your partner a Harvard grad from our class, a Harvard grad from another class? Let's focus on the Harvard grads from our class, the more than 10% of the folks who are married to somebody from our class. So I took a look at that group, took a closer look, and then I asked them the second question. How often do you connect one-on-one with somebody in your class? Mind you, again, for those of you who aren't quite following around, for the members of the lacrosse team out there, we're asking the same question of these two people. So what do we say? 3.5% of the people who are married to Harvard grads say they do not speak to somebody from our class in a typical month. They are married to somebody from our class, and they do not speak to somebody from our class in a typical month.
That's the secret to a strong marriage.
0 is a troubling number in that case. This is an action photo of one of those couples at a reunion. You're pretty excited about that. So there are mysteries as we go through this poll, but we stayed connected in the end for a reason. And there's a reason that we all feel good about the class. In the end, if we had to do over again, most people would go back to Harvard. 87% of us said that if we had it all to do over again, knowing everything that we know now, having paid off the student loan debt, having done all of what we've had to do, we'd go back. By the way, for those that are curious about that 11%, Stanford is the big winner in the 11% of where else people would go. Many folks realize that, as it turns out, stepping in a puddle that looks like it's a quarter of an inch deep and discovering it is 3 inches of slush outside of Obanpan, that doesn't happen to you at Stanford. So there's a lot of reasons why that can happen. So, and yet, despite our having 87% of the people who are excited about going to Harvard, more than a third of us keep it a secret. How often do you name drop Harvard in conversation? 33% never. I went there. I try to never tell people that I went there. It's a good plan. Now, I will tell you, as chair of the varsity club, most of my apparel is Harvard athletics apparel still. So I've got no choice but to let folks know. In fact, I can do product placements of all kind of varsity club materials at any moment. So we're nostalgic as a result of this. And we like thinking about Harvard. We like thinking about how Harvard has changed. These are the things, by the way, that we miss the most. When you look at the things that don't exist at Harvard anymore, the tasty, far and away the winner of the bygone things from Harvard Square. For anyone that hasn't been to Harvard Square in the last, in the last 6 months, so many things have changed as buildings have come down, a big mall is going in. But when you look at this list, I'm a little surprised to see Obanpan number 2. Still the best scene of, one of the best scenes, second best scene of Good Will Hunting filmed there, I'll say. Best scene, obviously, filmed at the Bow and Arrow, number 9. But some interesting choices out there of the things that we miss. And I will tell you, any crosstab you ran, any way you looked at this data, these are the 10 things that people miss the most and that people are hearkening for. It's not just the square that's changed, by the way. And the square has changed in many ways, but we've changed too. When we ask folks about their weight and how much heavier or lighter they are from graduation, it's not just the square that's changed. In fact, our average weight gain, when you average that out, is 11.8 pounds per person. Well, I'm pretty excited about that result. This is the first time since my admission to Harvard in 1986, off the waiting list, by the way, so I had to wait for that too. It's my first time since I got into Harvard in June of 1986 that I have actually been above average in our class. So I'm pretty excited about that, and that I don't need the curve. I blew this 11.8 pounds away, so it's a good way to be. Now, as one of the gainers, I divided up the results to the gainers and those that lost weights. I will tell you that the gainers, they're fat and happy. There's a reason that phrase exists. The gainers are 20% of them are earning more than $1 million per year. On the losers, 4.5% are earning $1 million or more. Their careers have gone further than expected by a significant ratio. About 50% more of them say their careers have gone further than expected. So now there's something to be said for it. And I will say, as somebody who has been to Pinocchio's Pizza at least once per month, every single month since September of 1986, I want to pause on that. I have not missed a month. I've been to Pinocchio's at least once a month, every month, for the last 34 years. So as that, I am proudly representing one of the gainers. So as we look through this, I've got a confession to make, and I could keep going on all of this data and keep looking at this, but I will be very honest with you. I didn't do this survey to learn more about any of you. I didn't do much of that 30 years ago. I sold a lot of my books back to the coop with cellophane still on it. That is true. By the way, with the cellophane still on it, the coop still gets away with only buying it back at used book prices. I don't understand why that is, still 30 years later, but so I guess there's something about depreciation in one of those books that I didn't open that I should have learned. I did this to snoop on people for a little bit, and I wanted just to learn more, and there are some questions in there that were just kind of fun. There's lots of things we can learn, but then there's the inappropriate stuff that we asked, and that's really much more fun. So let's take a look at the fun stuff. As a warning for those of you that are easily offended, the rest of this survey is now rated R. Now, we're all 50, 51, 52. I think we can handle it. You saw the questions. You had to know sooner or later I was going to share those results. Yep. So question 1. As of noon on commencement day 1990, were you a virgin? The vast majority, 83%, the answer to that is no. I have the class of '88 to thank for the phrasing of this question. I love the phrasing of as of noon. Again, I'd love to see a crosstab for what happened, when people, did people make it back to the lunches at the houses or not? That's a real question we have for 17% of the class, but we won't ask that today. So enough about the past. Let's focus on today. Here's the question that many folks are wondering about. How often do you have sex? Well, you can see the results here, here on your screen. Fairly interesting. Now, a couple of things and two notes about this results. First of all, very important. These are pre-coronavirus quarantine results. And I see some folks on the gallery nodding about that. These are before everyone's kids came home and were cranky. These are before we were all just cranky. These are pre-coronavirus results. Also a note, by the way, on the phrasing of this question. I meant to put this in from my rooting group. It was implied, but guys, the question meant how often do you have sex with a partner? That's what we meant. So that's going to invalidate some of the responses from some of the members of my rooming group, I know. So I'm sorry about that, guys. So how does that frequency compare to your senior year? For 35% higher, 45% folks were doing pretty darn well senior year. So Not a bad, again, really makes you think about the mattresses in the dorms and how long they've been around. But that's nothing you ever want to consider in your life. These days, would you like to be having sex? Well, all of us, fortunately, as we, and this would be a fun one to track through our reunions, we're all at the point where, yeah, um, about the same or a little more wouldn't be bad. That's the majority of our class. So at 52, seems like some things are still working. Have you ever had an affair? Well, about 17% of the class has. We have a small percentage of folks who have, but their relationship was open, and about 80% no. So all of that's a good starting point. The last question, of course, fill in the blank, what do we need more of in our life? Not surprisingly, giving you all of these results, what do we need more of our life? Well, most people want more sleep in their life. So despite the fact that we all want more sex, what we really want is more sleep. Think about that for a few moments. And that, again, cuts across all of the houses and all of the demographics. Now, as I was looking at these results, though, something just stuck in my head, and there was something I needed to focus on. I had so many questions that I was thinking about. I was trying to channel my inner Elliot of just how do I do these crosstabs? How do I learn more? What are the groups of the class that I just want to understand more about? Do I want to understand more about the people who have gone into finance? Do I want to understand more about the people who have, done different things and, people's concentration? Oh no. What I really want to understand is who the hell are those everyday people? Who are the people who are in this answering this question with every day? So what can we find out about these folks? Well, let's ask ourselves some things about the everyday crowd. And I was fascinated and obsessed when I looked at these crosstabs. 33% of them are married. All right, that's interesting. I have no idea what to make of that, if that's good, if that's bad, if that's what I would have expected. But all right, 33% are married. Got it. Check that box. Another thing I learned about the everyday crowd, 100% characterize a relationship as blissful. That is probably the most obvious crosstab in the history of crosstabs. If their relationship is not blissful, I'm not really entirely clear what they're looking for. The everyday crowd, another thing we learned about them, 0% are married to Harvard grads. I'm putting that one down as not surprising. But in our class couples, 0% of our everyday crowd are married to Harvard grads.
Funny.
Another thing we learned about them, 33% would like to be having sex more frequently. Are you shitting me? If you're out there listening, this is like going to a convenience store, running into Bill Gates buying a scratch ticket. Bill, you're doing just fine. You don't need any more money. Don't worry about it. You've got the 40 billion. You're fine. 33% have said, yeah, every day is great, but I'd really like to be having sex more frequently. Guys, you have to be productive members of society. You have to do something. And by the way, we're 50. Give it up. So, a few other things. 16% were virgins on commencement day. Back to that crowd. Now that's just as of noon. You can't make up for lost time, but some folks are surely trying, and that's pretty darn impressive. Lastly, another piece I enjoyed, 0% of the everyday crowd has lost weight since college. This has led me to give up on Orange Theory, where I've been so gallantly trying for so many months, and just again focus on my monthly obsession with Pinocchio's Pizza, because apparently that leads to better results. 65% get less than 7 hours of sleep every night. They need to remember that is their own fault. If you're getting less than 7 hours of sleep because you're having sex every day, I don't know what to tell you. And of course, they are 2 times more likely than the rest of our class to say they need more sleep in their life. I have no sympathy for any one of these folks. So that's just the way it goes, folks. Now, as we have some parting thoughts with this and some closing thoughts on what we learned from this, one of my favorite questions was the bumper sticker question. And this gentleman ran for president when we were in college in 1988. And one of the things that Governor Dukakis used to say is, if it doesn't fit on a bumper sticker, it's not a message. So in the spirit of Governor Dukakis, we asked some folks to describe themselves in a bumper sticker or a fridge magnet. I picked out just a few of my favorites. This was pretty appropriate. Empty nest chapter begins. Yep, so many of us are facing that, and I'm always intrigued when I get to see classmates who are dropping off their kids at Harvard now and their kids at other schools. It's fun to see, and fun to see everyone just getting into the next stage of their life. Another one I enjoyed was this one. Fat people are harder to kidnap. I'm not sure who came up with that one and why, but man, it's true. But that's a bumper sticker, which if that gets produced, I'm slapping that on my car because that tells a story. And there's this one. What I enjoyed about this one so much was it was a reminder to me of how much smarter so many of my classmates are than me. I had to look up the phrase reductionist meme to even understand this. So once again, this is what a bumper sticker looks like if the people that do the reading do the bumper stickers. Crazy things happen. Now, the last one, of course, is the best bumper sticker for COVID and for the days that we're living in quarantine, and that's this one. Just no more fucks to give. And I think I will tell you, there were moments that I looked deep into Jen Tombaugh's eyes on some of the reunion committee calls as we were planning this. And I saw that look again at about 4:07 when we ran out of Zoom licenses and realized that this is the bumper sticker on Jen's car. And this is the bumper sticker on so many of our cars right now. So what's the final word in all of this? I will tell you, my favorite movie comes from Woody Allen. And this is when Woody Allen used to tell jokes instead of being a punchline. And Woody Allen had a movie called Love and Death that he had in 1975. It was a slapstick comedy about Tsarist Russia. It's a great, very, very funny film. In the film, Diane Keaton, his longtime co-star, Diane Keaton says to him, "Woody, I have to tell you, sex without love is an empty experience." And he answers, "Yeah, but as empty experiences go, it's one of the best." Well, I'll tell you, a reunion without seeing all of you guys face to face is an empty experience. But as empty experiences go, this has been one of the best. Thanks for listening in for the last half hour. Appreciate folks all showing up for the call. If you want to actually learn more about the survey, it's now posted on survey.harvard90.org. So no dot before the 90, but the full results are now there. Survey.harvard90.org. So check it out. All the results are there. With that, thanks a lot. And now it's back to you, Ethan.
All right. Andy, that was fantastic. Andy, that was amazing. And Elliot, I feel like the next time you two see each other, you need to duke it out, or maybe you could co-host it at the 35th. That was awesome.
Thanks,
Andy.
Hey, Elliot. Yeah, good to see you.
The man himself.
There he is. Applause for Elliot.
There's the man himself. Great job, Andy.
Nice. All right. Okay, our next classmate who's going to be entertaining us. Susan Levine is a singer-songwriter, music therapist, and mom. She performs and records both as a solo artist and as one half of the Americano duo The Lied To's with partner Doug Quartler. She has recorded 4 CDs, 2 of her own and 2 with The Lied To's. The Lied To's were slated to release their 3rd CD this very weekend, Friday, May 29th at the Burren in Somerville, but plans got waylaid by COVID. Susan lives in Newburyport, Mass. with her 2 boys, her cat, and her brand new rescue dog, April. Let's give a warm virtual applause for Susan Levine.
Hi, everybody. It's so nice to be here. And that was great, Andy. That was fantastic. That was really fun. So yeah, it's weird to be on Zoom like this. I work as a music therapist and I'm doing all of my clients on Zoom, and it's a very strange thing that unfortunately I'm getting used to and a little bit better at, which isn't necessarily a good thing because I don't want it to be the new normal. That phrase bugs me. But anyway, it's so nice to be here, and thank you to the reunion committee for having me. You guys have done a great job. So trying to think of what to play, and given everything that's been going on, you guys are hearing me okay? Yeah, okay. Given everything that's been going on in the past, well, even just in the past couple of days, I thought maybe I should sing a song of hope or faith or love or something to bring everybody together. And I do have songs like that, but I'm not going to do that. So sorry. This is a song, I was thinking about the 25th reunion, and one of my favorite things was that in addition to the joys and successes that everybody shared, we all shared our trials and tribulations, because you can't get to 50 without a shitload of shit. So this song is kind of about what happens when you sort of kind of get to the other side. And it's called Time, and it's about time and how that helps you through stuff. And it was inspired by a day where I have 2 kids, and my little one had a drum recital. And I was there, and my ex-husband was there, and Doug, my partner, was there, my parents were there, and my brother was there, and my 2 kids were there, and my dad loves to take people out to eat. Some of you know my dad. He loves to feed people. So he invited everybody out to lunch, and everybody said yes. So at lunch, I'm sitting across the table from my ex-husband and next to my boyfriend, and my kids are there, my parents are there, my brother's there. And my ex starts talking about all these situations that we had gone through in our marriage, and you know, expecting me to kind of get the joke and laugh with him and connect with him that way. And it struck me that although I could remember the stuff that he was talking about in a visual memory way, I had no real emotional memory about it. And I thought that that was very interesting. So I wrote this song, and it's called Time, and I hope you like it. Are you lying to yourself again about everything that's come before? For me, it's easier to forget sometimes than to love you anymore. So I don't remember what you said to me when you slipped that ring onto my hand, or how the room looked like a tapestry. It's all unraveled strand by strand. Are there pictures in your mind? A little something left behind? 'Cause there's nothing left in mine, and that's the best thing about time. Did your arms once feel like home to me? In the middle of the night, and was that you or who you tried to be? You just couldn't get it right. Are there pictures in your mind? A little something left behind? 'Cause there's nothing left in mine, and that's the best thing about time. You are laughing across the table, telling stories I should know. I can't recall a single moment, and that's the beauty of letting go. Was I crying in the bed? And were you frozen in the doorway? Already gone in your head? Are there pictures in your mind? A little something left behind? 'Cause there's nothing left in mine, and that's the best thing about time. Are there pictures in your mind? Is there anything left behind? Time is cruel and time is kind, 'cause there's nothing left in mine.
Wow.
Thank you. Nice, guys. And it's so nice to write at home when my little one was walking in and the dog. I tried to take everything.
That was amazing.
That was cool.
Thank you, Susan.
I made
Thank you. Thank
Cal
you.
take the dog out, and then
Son and the dog kept walking behind her.
yeah.
Susan,
Fantastic, Susan.
Susan, read all the comments.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Thank you, guys.
Oh, wow, that was beautiful. Oh, we're getting a little echo. Someone's got two devices running at once, I believe. So, just something to be aware of.
I have to take off my glasses to read the comments.
Okay. Good. For the talking, the echo was going to be okay, but for the next musical number, that would be very complicated. Thanks, Susan. That was really gorgeous and moving. Okay, next up, Evelyn Chen. Many of you knew Evelyn as Shu Qing while at Harvard. She began using her middle name Evelyn professionally when she released her first solo CD. Currently teaching at Teachers College, Columbia University, Evelyn and her cellist husband, Brinton Smith, recently released their second CD together, titled Exiles in Paradise, Emigre Composers in Hollywood. Today, she will be playing two of her favorite encore pieces. The first one is should I say the first one or you're going to say it?
You can say it.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll say
you
it.
can say both, maybe. I don't
Okay,
know.
I'll say both and then you can just
Yes.
run through them. People, yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So the first one is Etude in D sharp minor, opus 8, number 12 by Alexander Scriabin. And after that will be Etincelle, sorry, French speakers, Etincelle Sparks, opus 32, number 6 by Moritz Moszkowski.
That was perfect, Ethan.
Warm
Thank
welcome
you.
for Evelyn Chen.
Hi, everyone. Hello. Oh, it's so nice to see everyone's faces, even though we're not in person. This is better than not having a reunion at all. So originally, someone recommended, actually it was Lori, thought that I was going to perform with my husband and my daughter, who's actually a pretty talented vocalist. But then 5 minutes, that was the limit. That would have been too short for everybody. So I'm just going to play two short pieces. These are favorites of Vladimir Horowitz. If you know anything about pianists, he's like one of the best pianists in the world. And these are both his favorite encores, and I heard them and I just love them, and I just had to learn them. And so the first piece I'll be playing is an Etude by Scriabin. It's beautiful. It's heart-wrenching. It's not like a dry etude like most of the composers. And it's very much in Rachmaninoff style. So if you know anything about Rachmaninoff. So anyways, so I'm going to put the microphone down and I will start.
Wow.
Shoo, wow.
Yeah, cool.
Great.
Woo!
Yeah.
Fantastic, Evelyn.
Thank you.
You got it.
Yay!
Amazing, King. We love it. Yay. Bravo.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Brava.
Thank you.
I'm gonna play the second piece now, but I'm not gonna get to the microphone, so I don't know if you can hear me, but here we go.
That was bread and treats.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
That's fantastic.
You too.
Bravo.
Amazing.
She looks exactly
Incredible.
like me.
Beautiful.
I've been
Thank
texting.
you.
Good job, Cha-Ching.
Look, this is his new wife.
Thank you, Evelyn.
Ethan, now we need Dancing Queen. This is bringing back memories of the 25th. We need Dancing Queen now.
There you go.
Thank you very much, everyone.
God.
Okay, so wow, incredible. Thank you. It was virtuosic, beautiful.
Amazing. Well done, Chu-Ching.
Okay, so coming up next, it's Oscar and the virtual choir. Oscar and the virtual choir. So this is a treat. The 29 performers in our next segment have never sung together before, and some have never met. They represent many of the major vocal groups on campus and are currently spread out across 4 continents, but have joined together using Dropbox and Gmail and iMovie to collaborate on this virtual performance of Virgil Thompson's My Shepherd Will Supply My Need. The piece was a favorite of Peter Gomes and was performed by the University Choir at the Reverend's memorial service at Memorial Church. We think it's a beautiful and fitting way to honor the memory of our beloved classmates who have passed on.
And I believe Lori is actually going to share the names of those classmates before we share the video. So I'll give her a moment to do that.
Of
Okay, next up, another musical treat from a classmate of ours. Sarah Melson writes songs about faith and hope despite the odds, love, lessons learned, and the fleeting preciousness of life. Look for her new EP, Wild and Precious Life, coming June 19th on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you listen to music. Warm welcome for Sarah Melson.
Hi, can you guys hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
I love seeing the trees behind you, Ethan. It's really relaxing. I really love seeing that.
They're fake, but thank you. Yeah.
Love that. Shoot, I guess, what are people doing? Should I pin myself so I don't get distracted? Maybe I will. Otherwise, I'm giving Ethan a private performance, but okay, hold on. Let's see if I can do that. So wait. Okay, this is without glasses. No, I can't figure it out. Whatever. Okay, Ethan's, all I can see is Ethan for some reason right now.
It looks good, Sarah.
Hi, everybody. I wish I could see you all in one. It is frustrating.
We're all Ethan.
Yeah. It is frustrating not to be in person. Oh.
Yeah, I just grew a beard and lost my hair to look like Ethan.
Now I see Lily. Okay. All right.
This way you can sing to one person.
So, wait. Okay. Is it video? How do you do that? Hold on the phone because
You're all good, Sarah. It's all good.
Doesn't matter. You know what? I'm just gonna play. All right. So this is such an honor to be here playing for you guys, and I'm really feeling overwhelmed with emotion on so many levels. So yeah, what a cool thing to do, and I admire the resilience of the reunion committee who just pulled it all together and were like our fearless champions. And you know, it's been really great to have that motivation to make this all happen. And I really want to see everybody that's here. It's hard. I hopefully we'll get to. And let's be in touch much more, you know, in general. So this is actually, I do have an EP coming out June 19th. And it's a collection of songs. It's called Wild and Precious Life, which is a nod to the Mary Oliver poem, The Summer Day, the line, tell me what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life. And that line really inspired me, and I put this EP together, so that's coming out. I mean, I feel like there's so much to talk about in terms of like the world, but I'm just gonna play. So this is a song by Leonard Cohen, and everyone has been so amazing so far, and so funny and great and inspiring and beautiful and moving and impressive and all of that. So this is Bird on a Wire by Leonard Cohen. Like a bird on a wire, like a drunk in a midnight choir, I have tried in my way to be free. Like a worm on a hook, like a knight in some old-fashioned book, I have saved all my ribbons for thee. Oh, and if I have been unkind, well, I hope that you can just let it go on by. Oh, and if I have been untrue, like a beast with its horn. I have torn everyone who reached out for me. But I swear by the song and by all that I have done wrong, I will make it all up to thee. I saw a beggar leaning on his wooden crutch. He said to me, you must not ask for so much. And a pretty lady leaning in her darkened door, she called out to me, hey, why not ask for more? Like a bird on a wire, like a drunk in a midnight choir, I have tried in my way to be free. I have tried in my way to be free. Thank you so much.
Beautiful.
Love you guys. Health, happiness. Get in touch with me for yoga. I have to say, Andy Freed, I was the one outlier because I didn't know about the survey. I don't know how it went over my head. I never even took it. So I might be the only person who's lost weight since graduation because of yoga. So if anyone needs me, I'm here. And Rich is doing it, Ethan's doing it, people are already doing it. So get in touch with me and I know it's just by online, but that means people who aren't even in LA can do it, so it'd be fun.
Thanks. Thank you, Sarah.
Sarah, if you want to go the other way, I'll take you to Pinocchio sometime.
That's the Pinocchio pose. Pinocchionasana. Okay. Thank you, Sarah. That was beautiful.
Zoom yoga on Thursdays. If anybody wants to, I can post the link every Thursday.
Please post the links.
Yeah.
And I think Diana will be happy to share those. So you can post them in the comments and then on the Facebook page. And
Thank you.
yeah. Okay. Thank you so much,
I
Sarah.
want to read all the comments. Yes. I'm going to take a minute and take a second and read all the, oh my gosh, you guys. I have a monitor here, which is why I'm looking down. It's my other computer. Try to read all the comments.
Okay. We're so up next. Or Sarah, do you have a second number? Is that what?
Sure, I can play another song if you want.
Oh, I didn't know if you were saying you were reading the comments before moving on to something, or were you?
Oh, I mean, I'm happy to play another song if you guys want. If you feel like, that's enough, that's totally fine. Whatever you want.
No, please give us another. And yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this one's one of mine. And thank you, Fred. Yeah, this one's one of mine. And it was written before COVID, before all of this madness. It's like pre and post. I mean, it's wild that we're living through this together. And I have to say, like, after the initial, like, which is still going on, of course, I quickly had to somehow, like, process that into some sort of, because that's what I do with, I just feel like, okay, how do we move on with this? I think that, thanks, Josh. I think that, I feel that there is something better coming that, and it's here. It's like you see that in just people's awareness and what's going on, and it's exciting. It's like a transformational, it's like a collective lifting of like the veil of like, delusion. and just having to be in reality. And that's great because we're all in this together. So, okay, so that's what this is about. This song is called Walk Softly. Please walk softly upon this earth. Take your time, that's what it's worth. There's a reason something put you here. You still have a lot more left to live. More to be, and so much more to give. Please don't let it waste away in fear. Get back up, don't shed another tear. Please be gentle, please be kind. You can't read anybody's mind. You don't know what they're going through. So don't be quick to your defense, 'cause we all hide behind pretense. And it's got nothing to do with you. So please don't worry, please don't fret. Rewrite your story, it's not over yet. Oh, turn the page, it begins right now. Who knows where it will go, why or how? Don't give up, don't despair. I know it seems like it's unfair, but your soul is strong and bright. Feed your faith, starve your doubt, believe that it will all work out. You never know, it just might. And everything is already alright. Everything is already alright. Please walk softly upon this earth. That's really rare.
Yeah.
Not to be so impatient, you know, that was written to myself, to remind myself to walk a little more softly, be a little more gentle, be a little more patient.
Beautiful.
So living, changing, and growing. Remember, you guys, as long as you're breathing, you are growing.
Thank you. Thanks, Sarah. That was beautiful. All right, thank you. So, can you guys hear me, by the way? I had to switch devices for battery reasons.
Yes.
I'm audible?
You're audible.
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah.
Thanks, y'all. Thanks. Okay. Thanks again, Sarah. Okay, next up, Dan Murphy. Dan performs his solo music under
Can't hear you anymore.
You dropped out, Ethan.
None.
Can't hear you, Ethan.
Can't hear
I
you,
got
Ethan.
mute. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I guess
yourself.
everyone was muted. I'm back.
Yes.
Okay. Here we go. Dan Murphy. Dan performs his solo music under the name Daniel Waterhouse. Today's selection, My Friends That I'll Never Know, can be found on his debut record, Feng Shui Croquet. Dan
Greetings
Murphy.
from Waterbury, everybody. Can you hear me well?
Loud and clear.
All right, let me kill this computer microphone here so that I don't feed back. So greetings from Waterbury, Vermont. This song was inspired by the contents of my most visible bookshelf around the time of the 25th reunion. It's called My Friends That I'll Never Know. It's a song of gratitude. Off the road, Mr. Emerson, transcendental natural medicine, Stevenson, Foster Wallace, intellects of the first degree, Castaneders, Don Juan Ruiz, four agreements, Zen's pursuit of justice with a vigilant vehemence, Yogananda, Dalai Lama, Venkata Sananda, portray Nirvana. My friends that I'll never know, through their written songs and their stories told, they're not present here, never far away. Sitting right there on my shelf is this remedy for my mental health. Thank you to the friends I'll never know. Heartfelt gratitude deep in my soul. Roger striking portraits of himself, Ray Davis not like everybody else. Bradley and Cobain, they burn so bright. Rage and the Clash brought the dynamite. Peter Tosh and Bob Marley, KRS, Chuck D, Winston Rodney, Tom's ballads of fear and dread, galactic symphonies buzzing through his radio head. My friends that I'll never know, through their written songs and their stories told, they're not present here, never far away. Sitting right there on my shelf is this remedy for my mental health. Thank you to the friends I'll never know. Because sometimes in existential times of crisis that one feels as an incarnate being, scrape along the rocket bottom like a punctured submarine. But words of truth, words of wisdom help to restore my buoyancy. Emerge from the ocean of my despair when I see my mind can break free. Because my friends that I'll never know, through their written songs and their stories told, not present here, never far away. Hey, sitting right there on my shelf is this remedy for my my soul.
Murph.
Right.
There you go, Murph. Thank you. There you go, Murph. Penny
Great
Packer
job,
in the house.
Dan.
I can't hear you. Okay, there you go.
Thank you for that. Don't miss the comments, Dan. There's some great stuff. I hope that those are saved along with the whole Zoom thing. Okay, thanks, Dan. Okay, Chris Bentley. Chris released a full-length music album in 2017 called Grand Design, which he self-produced and performed. He released a single called Just Call Me with a music video in 2018, and today he's performing what will be his new single called Just Yet, planning for release in 2 weeks. After graduation, Chris set out to be a musician and a songwriter. He has not given up that dream and hopes to release a new album by the beginning of 2021. He's currently a financial advisor with Morgan Stanley, and he sees the creativity in music as similar to what he uses in his profession. Music and orchestration have been and will always be a key part of his life. Please give a warm welcome to Chris Bentley.
Hey guys.
Hey, Chris.
Hi, how are you?
Good, Vince.
You know,
Yeah, Vince.
I have to.
My Vince.
Bentley. I have to be self-denigrating for one moment, but with Andy Freed posting the curve, that illustrious curve that all of us dealt with at Harvard, and then I kind of knew where I sort of tailed, and then I just, obviously being in the company of all these great musicians and artists, I'm like, here we go again. I'm back on the lower side of the curve, but you know, the one thing I learned from all that was you give what you can while you can. So here I am. This is a song called Just Yet. I'm excited about it. It's definitely temporal to today, and you know, I feel like it's been definitely motivational for me to kind of have it in my wheelhouse, because there's so many challenges right now. But you know, I feel like at our ages we're not done yet, and that's what the song's about. So without further ado, thank you for listening, and the song's called Just Yet. Stepping on the concrete, sitting on a stoop, in and out of churches, kneeling at the pews, struggle to see meaning, way ahead confused. I've been staring at the ceiling, wondering what am I to do. Getting on a 7 line, people crammed inside. A voice over the speaker says we're held by red lights. I see the eyes of the weary, impatience on display. I just wish I could share Mary, but I get up and walk away. A journey inward, search for meaning. I put my hands together and I say a little prayer. I'm moving from the sunrise to the sunset. I'm hoping that setting sun ain't setting on me. Oh, just yet. Stick on my shoulder, satchel full of food. I walk along the train tracks, trying to get to you. But the rumble of the mighty engine shakes my inner state. I turn around and I decide not to walk away. Journey inward, search for meaning. I put my hands together and I'll say a little prayer. I'm moving from the sunrise to the sunset. I'm hoping that setting sun setting on me. Oh, just yet. There are days of bright invincibility. The light dims with a terminal velocity. It's like I'm digging in when I'm really digging out. And I see the surface, but I'm already high above it. It's all in my head.
and I'm not done just yet. A journey inward, search for meaning. I put my hands together and I'm saying a little prayer. I'm moving from the sunrise to the sunset, and I'm hoping that setting sun ain't setting on me yet. I'm looking for adventure, I'm searching for meaning. I'm hoping that setting sun ain't setting on me just yet.
Woo. Nice, man.
That was awesome.
Oh, God. Lovely.
Way to go, Bats.
Great job.
Awesome.
Graham, great job, Chris. Thank you for that. Graham, you're up.
Me?
I believe you're saying something.
What am I doing?
Or are you
I'm
saying
saying something? I can say anything. What would you like me to say?
I thought it was, I was struggling how to describe this, so I recruited classmate John Malone to help me out. Was that not this moment?
Now you got it.
Oh, that's me saying that?
Well done, Ethan.
Okay.
That's you.
Okay. Let me do that again. Okay. By the way, I had to move in.
Take two.
I had to move inside to charge my computer. So here we go. I was struggling a bit with how to describe this next collaboration. So I recruited classmate John Malone to help me out.
Lily.
Let me try that one more time.
Yeah.
I was struggling.
John.
Here we go. I'll start playing the video. If there are any sound issues, just let me know.
Coming at you from the cornfields of Muster, Indiana, to the vineyards of Sonoma, California, from the quaint cottages of Winchester, Massachusetts, and the sandy boardwalks of LA, with a breeze through Nashville, it is my honor to introduce the H90 Angels with their tribute to the late John Prine and to our 30th reunion.
This old house would have burned down a long time ago. Make me an angel that flies from Montgomery. Make me a poster on the old rodeo. Just give me one thing that I can hold on to. To believe in this living is just a hard way to go.
When I was a young girl, well, I had me a cowboy. He wasn't much to look at, just a pretty rambling man.
That was a long time, no matter how I tried. Those years just flew by like a broken down man. Make me an angel that flies from Montgomery. Make me a poster of an old rodeo.
help in person. Go to work in the morning.
Come home in the evening and have nothing to say. Make me an angel with eyes from Montgomery. Make me a poster of an old rodeo. Just give me one thing that I can hold on to. To believe in this living is such a hard way to go. To believe in this living is just a hard way to go.
That was amazing.
Wow, fantastic, fantastic.
Thank you, Graham. That was awesome.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Much.
How is that even done?
Great. Thank you.
Amazing.
Graham,
That was amazing. Incredible from all the musicians. And Graham, wow, putting that together.
Encore. Encore.
Graham should make music documentaries.
amazing.
I agree. Way to go, Graham.
Yeah.
Thanks. Amazing. Thanks. And I love those photos at the end of everyone back in school. That was incredible.
I know, that was precious.
Please post that. I'm sure you're going to be posting that also, Graham. That was fantastic. Okay, so the instructions tell me that now I'm going to close and thank the performers. So thank you, performers. That was really inspiring and moving and uplifting. So thanks everybody for doing your part. I want to mention that before our final performer, who's David, we have an opportunity to continue the conversation on Discord. So once this is finished in a few minutes, Discord is it's a thing. It's an app, and it's sort of like Zoom, but you can do. I see all the classmates in Silicon Valley rolling their eyes at my attempt to say what Discord is. You know, it's a thing. It's on your computer, and you can talk to people. Only you can go into like breakout rooms. Now the corporate people are laughing at me. Breakout room. He doesn't know what that is. So anyway, we're going to continue this on Discord. But Gil, our classmate Gil, is going to explain what the hell it is right now. I'm handing it over to Gil.
Okay, so I'm just going to say a couple things, just a couple sentences about Discord. It is a platform that will allow us to chat in small groups and mingle as we might have done if we were in Cambridge. It's sort of the opposite of Zoom. Zoom is really good at video of a lot of people. Discord is not good at that, but it is good at breaking up into small groups for chatting. So I'm posting some links now in the chat. Hang on. Okay, so I posted 3 links there. The first one is some instructions, just a couple page overview of the features of it if you want to read it. The second link is if you have not joined the server yet, if you click on that link, you can join it. And the third one is if you've already joined and you want to get back in, you can click on the third one. I just want to say 2 things quickly that will help us, if people keep all this in mind, will help it go much smoother. The one thing is, like I said before, video does not work well on Discord. We've been testing it for the past couple of days. It just does not work well. So if you're not using the desktop client, or if you're in a room with more than 2 people, please don't turn your camera on because it will freeze and ruin your happiness. So just stick to voice. Second thing is when you log in, please use your full name because it will be very confusing to try to recognize who's who if people are just using their first name or nickname. It'll be much easier to check everyone in if you just start off with your full name, and then we'll just check you in real quick and you'll be in. And that's it. And hope you enjoy it.
Gil, one more thing, or someone, could you please post the Discord link on the Facebook group? That was a suggestion from Alex, I think, which is a good one.
Okay,
So
I'll
let's
do that right now.
Yeah, if we can do that.
Oh, could I also
Really helpful. Thank you.
Could I say something real quick too? I'm gonna be doing a live stream on my Instagram page of like a full set, June 6th, oh no, 7th, next Sunday at 5 o'clock Eastern time.
All right, thanks. We'll post that also.
Ethan, I'll just throw in while we're there, if you've missed the Thursday cocktail hours, there'll be another one on June 4th at 7 o'clock. Mitzi's going to be performing her writing, and I'm going to be talking about photography in COVID. And then I think, Dan, correct me if I'm 27th.
Let's go, Rimmer. Let's go.
Somebody's dog just ate them. Diana, you were saying something about the education panel. I think it's June 22nd at 6:30, if I remember right. 22.
All right, so yeah, so if you want more of this.
Hey, and can I just jump into the Thursday lunches are still happening, so anyone can come, and it's just like being in the dining hall, and you're pulling up a chair at a table informally. Lots of new friends that ready to meet each other, and we'll post Facebook links and send out an email.
And better food, hopefully.
Much better food, Brian. I swear to God, totally.
Venerable vegetables.
Dan, you
thanks.
can DJ my high school
At
prom
least it's not
anytime.
venereal vegetables.
Okay, so we're going to post. Let's make sure to post all that stuff on the Facebook group and get it out in an email as well. And so now I'm going to introduce our final, performer. Our classmate David Cole. Get this, David Cole of Canada Hall and Leverett House is the only person in the world certified in civil appellate law by the State Bar of Texas and as a tarot card master by the World Metaphysical Association. Wow. Okay, the only person in the world. And
Well, how about that?
He's going to treat us to a demonstration. And so he's
So
going to give a reading.
I thought what we could do is just plumb the depths of your psyche, Ethan, to kind of wrap things up. And, in front of an audience. That doesn't make you uncomfortable, does it? We're about to do that in front of 500 people.
No, that's fine.
That's great. That's wonderful. So we begin let me a couple of words before I start this. There's nothing occult or shady or weird about this. The idea is to provide perspective and to provide insight. And if we've learned anything from just the last couple of days, not only the virus that we are living with, but the civil unrest that we've seen, the songs that we've heard today, perspective and insight matters more today in our society and to us at the ages we are than probably ever before. These are a way of providing insight. The basic card in the deck is a picture of Ethan as a younger man, the Fool. The whole deck is called The Fool's Journey, and the Fool wanders his way through the cards, having adventures and receiving insight. Ethan, I need your input.
Incidentally, that's the title of my autobiography.
Well, there you go. You can use this for the cover. The copyright ran out a long time ago. I need your input. I asked you, Ethan, and hopefully you did this, to think of a topic that you wanted to learn more about in our reading. Not so general that it's sort of staticky, not so specific that it's, I'm going to have spaghetti for dinner, but something kind of in the middle. And assuming you've done that, I'm going to show you 3 cards. They are numbered 1, 2, and 3. We're going to do a Rorschach thing here. Tell me the number of the one that seems most relevant to the topic that you've picked up in your mind. I don't know what the topic is. I don't want to know what the topic is. But I'm going to ask you just to kind of quickly react and tell me 1, 2, or 3, and then we'll go from there. All right? So here we have the first ones. So 1, 2, or 3, the guy with the swords, the tower, or the guy waving sticks around?
2.
Number 2. Number 1. Number 3. This is Ethan's reading down in front.
I think the stick guy. Stick guy.
You're stick guy. You seem like a stick guy. So we're going to go with sticks. Then look, we have another one. Same question. We have 1, 2, and 3. Same topic, 3 different cards, quick reaction. Which one is the one that speaks to it the most?
Is the guy in the middle dealing with those pumpkins, sunflowers?
Those are there are 4 suits in tarot. This is called coins or pentacles, and he is harvesting money. He's working hard in the field. He's practicing his trade, and he's receiving coins and feedback from the material world for his efforts.
Okay, well, I'm going to go with that one, even though I thought it was pumpkins.
They're like pumpkins, but different. All right, so we're going to put those in the middle.
Oh my God.
We're going to shuffle. Were you here? I do a bunch of other stuff and have you shuffle. We're going to lay these cards here. If you went to New Orleans and dropped $50 on a reader, you would get, and hopefully y'all are able to see this okay. If the ends are getting cut off, somebody holler at me. And we're going to put 4 cards over here. This is the
clear.
classic.
It's very clear.
Excellent. This is the classic structure for a reading. It's called the Celtic Cross. And what you have with the plus sign here is sort of a snapshot of where you are now. We talked about the topic. You pick these 2 cards. This is the past of your problem to the future of it, or your topic, your area of interest. This is inside of you to outside of you, how you feel inside, how you interact with the outside world. So let's see what we have going on here. Oh, look at you, naked people. Oh, internally, sir. See all these wands? You have wands up and down, topsy-turvy, every which way. Inside of you, you live in creative ferment. Ideas everywhere. You can never seem to get started. You can never seem to finish. And the outside world sees you that way too. They see you as having ideas here, ideas there, ideas everywhere, not knowing where to turn next. So there is synergy here between the outside you and the inside you, creative, fervor, energy, enthusiasm. In the past, though, you were really wild and crazy. There were swords everywhere. Swords is the suit of ideas, of thoughts, the air, to use the old earth, air, fire, and water breakdown of things. This person chose a few and went forward. So in the past, you're even more of a mess than you are today. You picked up ideas that worked for you. You put them in the past, and you have even more. So what's the tension? What are the 2 cards we look at now? Well, things are actually, in spite of yourself, Ethan, you're actually doing pretty damn well. This fellow who we talked about earlier, Mr. Pumpkin Farmer, he's out here working hard in the field, and he's, as I mentioned, there are 4 suits. We saw ideas surrounding here. Coins are the suit of money, the things money buys, security. And this person is harvesting and receiving fruit in exchange for his efforts. This person's triumphant. He's got wands, the suit of growth. You see the little leaves growing. He's riding a white horse. He has wreaths. It's an imagery of a Roman triumph, entering the city, having won a great victory. And this is what's going on. Your life, in spite of the internal, which way am I going? In spite of the outside world seeing that and sensing you about that, you, sir, have grown and prospered and are continuing to prosper and have the potential. This is the 20. There are 4 suits in tarot, and then above that is the major arcana, the Fool, this card, other such cards. Judgment is the second highest card in the major arcana. It symbolizes achievement, not merely from one of the 4 cards, but for all of them together. A union, a coming together, a finding of common ground, a reconciliation of all these different things that have been going on in your life if you continue to do the things that are working for you now and don't worry too much. How am I doing so far? All right. Now we're the way
pretty
forward.
Good, except for the guy crying beneath his Venetian blinds. I think.
Yeah, that's a problem. And the Venetian vines are sharp and have swords on them, so they might cut you. So be careful of that. So where are we going from now? Right now, in spite of all this around you, all this energy, and which way am I going? You love your life. You're happy. Look at this guy, the Page of Cups. Cups is friends and family, the card of social network. And this guy is so happy with his social network that he put a fish in his cup. And he's dancing around holding a fish in his cup. Perhaps that looks odd to the outside world, but it has meaning for you. You find joy in walking around with your fish and your funny hat. And however much energy and bouncing of thoughts is going on, it's not bringing you down. It's not making you unhappy. And the outside world actually loves it. The zanier you are, the happier the outside world is about it. They want to play along. The 2 of Pentacles of coins, there's balance back and forth and back and forth. They love it the sillier you get. The trick, as we looked here, is moving from this back and forth and energy and synergy and building to this culmination, this bringing together, the Judgment card. And the Magician is the path that leads you there. The Magician, one of the lower of the major arcana, just above the Fool, he transmutes the different suits into each other. You see there's the coin, the cup, the swords. We've seen those before. The wand, all laying on the table, high to low, back to front, the infinity symbol. He can change ideas into actions. He can change activity into results. And the trick for you is to move from this energy and creative force that's working so well for you and make the energy move into something a little different. Take an idea and turn it into something tangible. Break out into a different art form. Lead a crazy thing on Zoom for 500 college classmates, something like that. And where do you get this insight from? Unexpected sources. Don't do the same old thing. Look out into the world around you, and someone from outside your social circle will be who brings you the insight that lets you move to the next stage in your life, the next level of development, the next harmonization of all the many skills and talents that you have. It could be someone on this very call, although probably not one of the people off having sex.
Could be you.
You know, you never know. There's the Hermit. So be watchful for that man or that woman or that dog or that cat, because that, sir, is where your future lies, is in the person outside coming to you with new wisdom. And that is your reading, sir.
That was incredible. Wow. Thank you.
I would take a bow, but then I would have to upend the video setup here and make a big crashing sound. So I will not do that. I'll just wave goodbye.
Yeah, that was insightful and fantastic, and it resonated in a lot of ways. Wow. It was much quicker than therapy.
In Discord, I'll be in a room called, cleverly, Tarot Readings, and there is video working, at least on my end in that, and I can mess around with it. And if anybody thought this was kind of cool and wants to learn more about it, give me a ring or send me an email offline. We can fix something up. Obviously, if we were going to you can spend a lot more time at this than just kind of a quick dash through, and everybody wants to get on to the next stage of this. But I don't mind. I find it very interesting. I think people get a lot of insight. So just send me a note. There's many different ways to find me, and I'd be happy to spend some time discussing it further with you.
Thank you. And can we repost the Discord link one more time, since there's so many, the chats have gone on and on, so people know where to hop onto for Discord right now?
Yep, Ethan, it's Jen. Give me just a second and I'll do that.
Cool.
I think Gayla's over in the Discord room.
And then I think that's it. And we're going to say toodles and see you in Discord. Is that right?
That's right.
One more thing, Ethan, somebody commented, and I don't know if everybody saw it in the chat, that if you click on the 3 dots on the bottom right of the chat, you can save the entire chat to your computer.
Oh, save the chat. Oh, before we go, I don't want to be, I don't want to do it, but I want to do it. I just want to give a little plug. So I have my comedy album. It's called Thug Thug Jew, and it's I think it's funny. People have been enjoying it. It spent a little time at #1 on iTunes and Amazon. It's called Thug Thug Jew, and if you haven't heard it, please give it a listen. Thank you. Thug Thug Jew. Thanks.
So good.
Oh, one more little thing, and then I'll leave you alone. I've been doing one other thing, which is daily at noon on Instagram Live. I've been doing a chat show with my friends who do creative jobs. So if anyone's interested in sort of being the subject, Robbie and I did it one of the first weeks I was doing the show with her new book, and it's been really fun. If anyone has an artistic project or a book or any other project that they want to plug and talk about, send me a note, and I'd love to have you as a guest on the show.
I would love to do it.
Okay, send me a note. Let's do it.
Ethan, before you close, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone, and especially to Robbie for saving the day and making sure that we had at our peak 408 classmates on this Zoom. So thank you. The work that went into this was tremendous, and I just can't thank everyone enough. So I hope you all enjoyed it, and see you all in Discord.
And thank you, Jennifer.
Thanks, Jen.
Thank you, Jen.
Thanks to all the
organizers. Thank you.
Thanks, Jen.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jen.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Jen, and Ethan and Graham.
Thank you.
30 rocks. 30 rocks.
Thank you.
Good job, everyone. Fun to see you.
Take care. Bye.
Everybody.
Great to see everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, thanks, everybody. See you.
Bye, everybody. Thank you. See you.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody. That was wonderful.
Holly Zellweger. Vicky was on here. She didn't say. Alex was on here.
Robbie, you're awesome.
I agree.
How y'all doing?
Thank you, everybody. This was awesome. Thank you so much. See you on Discord.
Are we on Discord now?
No.
Are we on Discord? Did we just roll over to it?